My name is Boniface Mwangi. I'm a human rights defender. People call me the People's Watchman, and I'm a veteran activist. I began when I was very young. I think I began when I was a teenager, because I remember when I was very young, I was in a school that was not good, and I organized a protest. I wrote letters to the Minister for Home Affairs that time, and I got expelled for my agitation when I was in school. But I think people came to know about me more in 2008 after the post-election violence, and I'd covered that. So people saw my pictures, and I did a traveling exhibition within the country. And then there was one time I did a protest against Mwangi when he was president. Some of you are not born, you know. And when I did that, I was beaten, taken to jail. And I think that's the first time my name hit the headlines as an activist. My best favorite protest was Langata Road Primary School. There's a school on Langata Road. Then there's a hotel called Western Hotel, and they tried to grab the playground of the school to build a parking and organize that protest. And I think for the longest time there was a sign saying this land belongs to Langata Primary School, Langata Road Primary School. So me, every time I pass through that road and I see the school, I remember that we helped those kids have a playground forever, because right now no one can ever grab that. So I think out of the many things I've done, I'm proud of that. Activism is not what I do for a living. So they're like the major thing that I do. It's one of the things that I do by the side. I sell land, I'm a photographer, I travel to teach photography, activism, I do many things. I'm a business person, I do business. So like if you look at my life, I'm 42 and I've done less than maybe 30 protests in my life. Just because every time I do a protest, there's an impact. That's why people think I am an activist for life, or that's what I do every day. But I don't wake up to do activism. Today I went for a TV interview, then I went to court. I was just doing normal human things, not activating. I think one of the things that we need to be very careful about in this country is that the government has demonized activists and said that we can't do what we do because we love this country. So last year there were thousands of kids in the streets. Were they paid to be in the streets? In this June there were more people in the streets. Were they paid to be in the streets? I think it's very cheap thing and cheap thinking to do that. But let me say this, the government itself is donor funded. But he was getting money from the so-called donors. The government would freeze my accounts. They've never frozen my account. The bloggers have never shown you my bank statement. I think it's a very cheap thinking. And also, if, let's say, for a minute, let's assume there was money being paid. If there was money being paid, what is the money being paid for? How much money would you want to be paid so that you can be shot? You can be arrested and tortured. You can be killed. Your house can be bombed. And all those things have happened to me. So how much money do you need for you to do that? So this thing about being paid to do what? Does the work we do harm the country or make it good? So your cowardice makes you think you're paid, but I'd like to pay you to become an activist. How much do you want? So every time they say these things, it's just the way they're trying to discredit. And it does not help, actually, because it makes me or forces me to fight for this country and defend my reputation. So there's nothing wrong about the street protest. What is wrong is that the government is killing people. And that doesn't mean if you try another approach, I don't know what that approach is going to be, they'll not stop killing you. The thing we need to do is actually hold the government accountable for the killings, for the injuries, and for the violence. Once you do that, then protesting is going to be safe. If we stop protesting, then the government wins, because that's the intention and that's their goal. They're trying to stop us from protesting so that we can be able to continue lording over us, stealing our money, taking advantage of us. The truth is, the last year's protests were very effective. That's why the First Lady, Rachel Ruto, doesn't have an office. There is the office of the First Lady. Some of those parks were removed. CAS, there's a lot of impact from the protests last year, and we need to celebrate that. But not what you're fighting for now is justice for the kids who died, justice for the ones who are injured, and even it's very possible to compensate businesses that actually were touched or looted during the protest. But this narrative about let's stop, when we stop we lose. What I think we can be able to do, we can protest, find ways to protest and do the organizing, but also get ready to actually get these young people to have voters cards so they can be able to ensure that their voice is heard during the elections. Because all this noise and you can't be able to vote because you don't have a voter's card will make sure that this man is re-elected. So there's a need to actually organize politically for removing this man from power. I am not responsible for any deaths. I'm not responsible for any deaths because I have not killed anyone, I have not harmed anyone. The people should be held accountable are police officers who are misusing their firearms. It's the government. And if you look at the last protest, it was very simple messaging. Justice for Amashuja. We were saying we want justice for the people who died during the violence. That was the only reason we were going to the streets. We were saying give us justice for those people. Compensate their families. Arrest killer cops. Let there be accountability. That's what we're demanding. I have not been involved in any violence. My approach to activism and my approach to protest is non-violence. We go to the streets with placards, flags, and a lot of love. And love has never killed anyone. So we spent the entire day in court, and then the court said, you know what, we challenge the application for them to be held for 21 days. And the court said they're going to do a ruling about the bail terms on Wednesday. So they have to spend another 2 nights in jail before we get a ruling. There's a man called Charles Owino. He's a reckless, loud man who speaks recklessly. There's no evidence Karaoke insulted anyone. But number 2, an insult does not earn you a bullet. If he had broken any law, arrest him. The people who steal billions in this country are never shot. They're given due process. Our president was once arrested for land grabbing. He was taken through due process. Our president was accused of crimes against humanity, murder, and rape. He was taken through due process. Half of the people in parliament have been accused of all manner of crimes. All manner of, most of the most vilest things. None of them is shot. Are we saying that same thinking of he was shot because he insulted a police is the same thing that a woman was killed because of a cool affair? Doesn't make sense. The government in power will not give us justice at all. And that's the reason why we're saying Ruto must go. Because as long as he's in power, you're going to continue being violated, being arrested, being killed, being abducted, and being disappeared. So these people who are in power right now, they don't care about us, they don't love this country, and that's why they must go. And that means going, we can get a ballot revolution, that we can remove him through the vote. And going means also you can force him to resign because no one wants him. Parliament can impeach this man. The Senate can start its impeach proceedings. There are so many ways for him to leave. And also there's some guy up there called God. There are many things that can happen between now and the next election, even to me. So we can't say that he's going to finish his term. But even if he does finish, he's a one-term president, and he knows it. That's why he's using violence and fear to intimidate citizens who are resisting his oppression and tyranny. I'm afraid that sometimes I'm in the streets and my feet are shaking, but I still march. But what keeps me going is that I know that if we win this fight, my kids are going to have a better future. That my kids won't have to face the same struggles that I'm facing today as a citizen of this country. So we fight not only for ourselves, but even for our kids. So this fight is for them, that we might win and they get a better country. The reason I'm able to protest today is because in the 80s and 90s, people protested and we got a new constitution that allows me the right to protest. But when they're fighting, there's no right to protest. So I have a duty to protect those rights. And then hopefully that one day we're going to win. You get insulted for fighting for people. It's a thankless job. You don't get accolades and a pat in the back because you do these things. People just come to you because they have problems. Like the way people have money, they go to a concert, they spend money on celebrities, or they have money and they go and have a coffee, and they have money and they go, just spend it and enjoy it. People come to me because they have problems, not because there is something good to do with me. Yeah, people just talk to me at a funeral, or I'm being auctioned, there's a young man who was waiting for me the entire day, since morning, he wanted bus fare to go up country. So people just come to me because they have problems. I'm like, it's a tiring job. This country is run by the mafia. The people have a control of this country so much, and they have so much control that they're not willing to lose it. And if we do not wrestle the country back from them, we'll have no country. So we have a responsibility to ensure that the political elite don't continue multiplying and multiplying, because it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And that the police service do not exist to serve the people, but to protect the rich. But a time is going to come when you're going to overcome the fear. And a time is going to come when they stop killing us, because they can't kill all of us. But I think the future of this country is very bright, and it's bright because of its young people. It's bright because young people care about this country, and they're willing to fight and die for it. They're willing to pay the price for change. And that's why this Kenya will be liberated. And that's why Ruto is so scared about young people because those young guys cannot be bribed, cannot be compromised, and that scares him because money doesn't work on them at all. As long as I walk, as long as I can breathe, as long as I'm in this world, eating food and breathing this oxygen and seeing beautiful people like you and everyone else in this room, I continue this fight. This work stops when I'm dead, so I'm still here. You start where you are. You don't have to start on a national protest. Work in your community. Maybe there's a school that doesn't have a fence. Talk to the local MCA to put a fence. There's insecurity in your area. Go and meet the area chief or the OCS and engage with them. Start engaging on a low level. So start in your community and say, what can I solve in my own community? And then you start getting stronger and learning how to do it. And I think most importantly, as a young person, read a lot. Read about the history of this country, read about the struggle for independence, read about the Mwakenya movement in the 80s, read about the fight for multi-party democracy. Just read as much as you can because information is power. So the more you read, the more knowledge you get, and the more you're likely going to lead the change that we want to see in this country. At least I have my firstborn who is 18. He's already in the trenches. I was with him in the streets. I don't think I need the media to continue the work that I'm doing. I think I can just do what I want to do, say what I want to say, and just continue. Because the other thing is, I don't like sharing platform with thieves. And media likes platforming thieves and criminals and crooks, and I don't like that.